Hey guys, welcome to another video. I took a few weeks off here because life has just felt, I don't want to use the word busy because I don't know if that's really the right word. Ooh, the sun is coming out. The word is, I don't know, overwhelming, but not really in a busy way. But thankfully with my words being slow and deep for 2025, I felt like I could let myself take a break. And that's been very freeing. Those words are really working for me this year. So today I wanted to give a little bit of a fostering update because I've had some questions and I feel like it's been a while, and so I'm gonna do that. I'll start with a brief history of a bit of a timeline maybe, with our current kids that we have. I'm going to keep things vague. I definitely want to respect their privacy, the people's involved privacy, but also this greatly affects our lives here, so I want to share that a little bit. Yeah, I'll just quickly go over it. So right now we have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old that in February we marked the anniversary of their time with us. So the 6-year-old has been with us for 5 years and the 4-year-old has been with us for 4 years. They are siblings but went into care at different times, a year apart. I mean, the 4-year-old wasn't even born when the 6-year-old came into care. So let's start back 5 years ago. 5 years ago, we got the now 6-year-old who, back in the day when I was blogging, I named him R2D2, which was so funny because he kind of made that sound sometimes. It was pretty funny. R2D2 came 5 years ago, so 2020, February 2020. We did COVID together, and then his sister, who we named BB8 because we thought that was very fitting, plus she was roly-poly as a baby. That worked really well. She was born in the summer but came into our care the next February. But before that, they were working on, I'm trying to get my timelines all working out here. They were working on getting R2 to go with birth family. And that was the process we were going with. And then all of a sudden she came into our care. So things completely fell apart. Then they were both in our care till from that February up until the fall, where they tried to reunite with family. That is supposed to be, they have this process with this one program, and it's kind of supposed to be a 3-week transition, and 3 weeks from when you start they are living with birth family. That ended up being a couple months, and then BB8 went and moved with birth family, and then 2 months later R2 moved with birth family, and that lasted for 2.5 months, and then they were back in our care. And then from there they were in our care from March of, I don't even know what year we're in anymore here, 2022, March of 2022, until the fall, where they went with a different family member, and there they stayed until they came back into our care in May of 2023, and that's where they have been with us since May of 2023. So we're coming on 2 years of them being with us. So we have had these kids in and out for 4 and 5 years, depending on which kid you're talking about. And they are, oh man, this is gonna turn into a bit of a ranty video. They are still on a short-term court order in Saskatchewan, which they are part of the Saskatchewan foster system because that's where we were living. And we got special permission through big meetings to have them move with us. But in Saskatchewan, after a kid has been in care for 18 months, they're supposed to start long-term planning. And it's just kind of worked out that every time that they have kind of hit around that 18-month mark, they're getting reunited with birth family. And so even though they've been in care for 4 and 5 years, it restarts every single time they come back in care. And now they've been in care for over 18 months. In February, their last short-term court order ran out. Did I say February? I meant December. December, their last short-term order ran out, and we were told they were going to be long-term planning. They ended up signing another short-term order, and apparently in the background some long-term stuff is happening, so they say, but I haven't seen really any evidence of that yet. So I am at the point now where I'm feeling very frustrated. We definitely got into foster care knowing that the system is broken. We are not here because of the system. We wanted to be able to help kids that were in the care. It's not their fault that the system is so broken. And when R2 and BB8 left our care 2 years ago, we closed our home to fostering. I guess I should have said this as well, because we knew we were going to be moving to Alberta in about a year from when they came into our care. It was almost exactly a year, actually. But when they came back into care, their birth family member they were with specifically requested they come back with us, and so we said, okay, we'll take them, but like, we are moving, and that all got sorted and they ended up coming with us. But we were done with fostering, and part of the reason we were done is because we knew we were moving, but part of it is too, we were just so sick of the roller coaster. Having adopted internationally before, we very much felt like we wanted to be a foster family, not just fostering. We really wanted the kids to feel like they were a part of our family, even if they were only with us for a short amount of time. Because we just didn't want that like at the forefront of the mind that they could go at any time, even though that was true. And that's just a hard space to live in for 5+ years. And I did share a video, this was a long time ago. It was, I think, when BB8 left us one of the times. And I shared a video where we were like pondering if we should be done with fostering. And I would appreciate like grace and just a soft heart from you guys, because I seriously had someone find me on Facebook and message me. And thankfully I didn't see that message for months because it was like in a different folder and I hardly ever go on to Facebook. But they literally messaged me to tell me, yes, we should be done fostering. If I'm sharing it in a video, then we should be done. And I don't think that was the right thing for that person to do. I still feel very done with fostering as a system. It is very tiring, very draining. It is very much weighing on our family. So as a bit of an update, we are still in a short-term court order. I have had people ask us if we would ever adopt the kids, etc. That is literally not an option. Saskatchewan does not do adoptions from foster care. There may be a few exceptions, but like as a rule, they don't do it. And birth family is, while unable to care for them, still vocal, and how do I word this? Their voice still has a say. It will still make things take a long time, and yeah, I'll just stop there. But because life has felt, and I think this is a combination of, we moved, we're trying to plant a church, we've left our church family, which has been really hard, and then all the foster care stuff on top of it, life has just been fairly difficult in the last while. And part of that is trying to get a first grader to go to school every day that does not want to be there, that literally cries at least once a week about going to school and pretty much asks every single day to not go to school. And if there's a long weekend, is already dreading like Monday when he has to go back to school. And as someone that wants to homeschool him, homeschools other kids, has my teaching degree, I don't see why they refused to let me homeschool him this last year. The answer was socialization, which is like the lamest excuse I've ever heard. So last week I sent an email to the kids worker who was on leave all of January and half of February, and then is moving positions, so they're gonna have a different worker right away, which will make everything take even longer. I sent an email and said pretty much that they need to let us homeschool next year, or it may be a deal breaker, which feels harsh. But I feel like we are actually technically not even in the foster parent. We're not labeled foster parents anymore. We are alternate care because a birth family member requested us. So normally alternate care are people that haven't done all the fostering certification like we have done, but because we let our first aid lapse, and because we closed our home, and because this family member requested us, we are alternate care, which I feel like should give us a little bit more freedom. And I'm not worried about the socialization aspect. School has not been great for socialization. he is getting bullied a little bit, which just breaks my heart, and has great homeschool friends that live right beside us. So I don't think that's a good reason. And so I've given a bit of an ultimatum, and it has gotten forwarded from their worker to a supervisor. And at this point, we are just waiting to see what happens. It's very hard. Like, one of many reasons we homeschool is for that freedom to set our own schedule. You know, we could go on a holiday in the middle of the week. And we live like decently close to the mountains right now. That would be great to be able to just go in the middle of the week when hotels are emptier and stuff like that. And even just day to day, right? If you guys homeschool, you know all the benefits. But I'm really finding it difficult to be tied to the school schedule, especially since knowing that next year BB8 is supposed to be going into kindergarten, and the kindergartens here are half-day kindergartens. And we live in a fairly new neighborhood that doesn't have a school. So R2 is bused multiple neighborhoods away, like 1, 2, I'd say like 3 neighborhoods away at least, if not even more, because the schools are full and there's not that many around here. And so next year's half day every day. So I would have to be driving every single day, either in the morning to do pickup or the afternoon to do drop off. And that's just not a family schedule that is going to work for us. We want to homeschool, and that will take up so much of my time when I could be spending it with my kids, teaching my kids. So yeah, I don't know. That's a bit of an update. I had some questions over the last few months that I feel like I have touched on all those answers. I'm gonna quickly check. I did write a list of the questions. I think I answered them all. Oh, one of them was, what are the differences of long-term planning? And there are 2 different routes for long-term planning. I have learned that every province is severely different. We have a worker from Alberta that comes to our house once a month to like check on the kids because their Saskatchewan worker can't do it. So we've had some interactions now with the Alberta system. The worker that comes out each month, has 0 say on anything. She can't do any kind of planning or anything. But I've gotten to know the Alberta system a little bit from her. Saskatchewan's is very different. So, oh wow, now I don't live in the province, I can't say it. Saskatchewan has 2 different long-term solutions, in quotation marks. There is just long-term ward, where they are a foster child for till they turn 18, I think, and nothing would change. We would still need a worker coming out every single month. Everything's the same. The money is the same. So in Saskatchewan, if you are foster parent certified, you actually get extra money each month for each kid. But because we're technically not foster parents anymore, we don't get that anyway. So the other option is PSI, which in Saskatchewan, it's person of sufficient interest. And I cannot figure out this lighting with the sun. In Saskatchewan, PSI, you get less money. You don't get that like topped up money from being foster parent certified, but we're not getting that anyway. And with PSI, you have a little bit more freedom. I don't know all the differences, but I believe we don't need a monthly check-in. I think it's once a year. And then there's just more freedom. I think that's a little bit more like legal guardianship, whereas how it stands right now, we still need to get social worker signatures for a number of different things. Even when R2 was getting speech and language help last year in kindergarten, that a social worker needed to sign. So the PSI is the way we are trying to go. We would like to go because it offers us just more freedom to be an actual family instead of needing to check in with someone all the time and like asking for permission for everything. As far as like my ultimatum goes, I don't think that they would try to like call my bluff and say, no, he has to, or both of them, I guess, next year, they have to go to school in order for them to be in your home, because they don't have anywhere else to go. And they have known that they've been great here for 5 years. If they were to say that, then we need to figure out where we're going from there. We're not kicking these kids out or anything. I think it's to their benefit that our family can feel a little bit more stable. Like right now, it just feels like we are on shaky ground all the time. And you can do that for a while, for a season. But 5 years is too long for a season, I feel like. And everyone in our house is just sick of feeling the wobbliness. And so that's what I'm trying to get rid of, those wobbly feelings. So that's a little bit of an update on where things are at. Yeah, I don't know where things are gonna go from here. I was hoping to hear from, I don't know, some kind of decision already by this point, but we'll see how long it takes and go from there. Thank you for listening. I appreciate your guys' kindness and graciousness, and please don't come at me in the comments because it happens. And just trying to share what we're going through, share how broken the system is. There's part of me that would just really like to fight the system and bring some light, you know, media-wise to it, but I don't feel like that's my place. So I'm not doing that, at least at this time, but this is my place to share with you. So thanks for hanging out with me.